What's up, you homies? It's your homegirl Natalie, and today I'm showing you my bullet journal. Oh. So my previous bullet journal was Sailor Moon themed. This one is One Piece themed. I got Luffy right here. Can you see how I'm that Tia that puts you know, plastic on her couch so it doesn't get dirty? Like, I feel like for stickers, like, I want to put them on my things, but then I'm like, what happens when I have to throw those things out? Like, for example, my laptop case or something. So even in my bullet journal, I'll only be able to use it for a year. So I decided to keep it in the plastic, and I just taped it on, so it's kind of like having stickers on. Anyways, I digress. We are well into the middle of May. I filmed this earlier in the month, but I was never able to do this intro and everything, so that's where we're at. I really want to do a flip through of my previous bullet journal. Like I said, it was all Sailor Moon themed. I'm kind of hoping to maybe even sell some of the templates and things like that. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you at the end. Alright, we are starting off at my cover page. I actually drew out everything first before filming, because if I filmed the drawing process, it would have taken hours, man, hours before I figured out exactly how I wanted the spread to look like. I get way into random details and things, so I thought it would just save you the trouble of watching that. Man, so the pen I am using here to outline this is so freaking hard to handle because it's at an angle. Like, the pen itself, it's at an angle, like the tip of it. But because it gives me a thick line, it was perfect for outlining the outer portion of the Jolly Roger. I guess I still have to learn how to master using it. That's why my face was all up in the shot there. When I work on my bullet journal, I tend to be all over the place, man. Like, outlining one part, then coloring a different section, and doing this and doing that. But it works for me. Anyways, though, for your viewing pleasure, I place the shots in a more cohesive manner. So for my cover page, I definitely knew I wanted to draw in their individual Jolly Roger. It's the skull with the crossbones. But for the other part, I was debating whether to draw them pre-time skip or post-time skip. But then I found this really cute picture that Oda drew of the Straw Hats as children, and I thought this would be a super cute way to showcase them. And Oda has drawn the other characters besides the Straw Hats as children, so this will work when I don't have any more Straw Hats to draw. How I chose the colors for the title is based off of what colors best represent the characters. Yellow for his chanclas and hat, blue for his shorts, and red for his shirt. I thought the title looked a bit plain, so I added this cool 3D effect. Now we get to my monthly log. Before filming this, I accidentally drew the outline of my calendar first, before really thinking about what details I wanted to add in the spread. Oh well. I personally like to have a giant calendar for my monthly log. I tried using a small one-page calendar, but I found that gave me way too much empty space. So the bigger, the better it is for me. And plus it gives me a better look at my whole month in general. And yep, I added his straw hat on the edge there and filled in the empty spaces with a bunch of gum fruits because, as you know, well, I hope you know, Luffy ate the gum fruit, making him a rubber man. Sorry that my hand for the most part is placed directly under the camera, so you can't see what I'm coloring or drawing most of the time. Maybe I'll make sure to change that for next time. So here I'm just coloring everything in, and using the gum fruit color, I use this as the main accent color for my monthly spread. Basically how I use my characters for my spreads is that I draw things that I think are a part of the character. Let it be what their main ability is, or what tool they use, or a piece of clothing that they wore, like how you'll see in my next spread. For my mind spill and video ideas spread, this one was the easiest one to draw. I used this flower pattern that was seen on Luffy's shirt during the Dressrosa arc. I probably should have created a space for the writing so it could have stood out better. Oh well, what you gonna do now? So instead, after writing in the titles, I went in with a white pen to try to make it pop out more. For my mood tracker, I drew a bunch of gum fruits, and basically the lighter the fruit, the crappier my mood was that day, and the darker the fruit, the happier my day was. Sorry that my face is all up in there, but when I draw and color, I need to be super close to the paper. Actually, having to be so far away from the paper made this really hard and difficult for me to film, but you just gotta keep going. For the titles, I used the same Made title accent colors, blue, red, and yellow, and created this cool double drop shadow. After numbering each fruit, on the next page, I'm trying something new. This is kinda a more in-depth mood tracker. I call this my Today I tracker. A lot of the times when I would look back at my mood tracker at the end of the month, it was mostly happy, but it's not like my whole day I was feeling awesome. Just maybe by the end of the day, I could have made my rather crappy day into a good one. So with these trackers, it's giving me a better look as to what I did during the day that could relate back to my mood. Did I sing? Did I cry? Did I dance? I like these trackers a lot because it helps in visualizing how I've been feeling and what I've been doing during the month. I had some empty space at the bottom, so I drew a scene from One Piece that maybe you guys might recognize, but this is a very, very iconic scene where right before the then 5-member Straw Hat crew entered the Grand Line, they all put a foot on the barrel and said their dreams. Oh, the feels. I don't know if you get the feels, but like One Piece just gives me all the feels, man. And speaking of dreams, on the next page, I drew out Luffy's dream, his favorite thing to say. I thought adding in this little break in the spread would be nice, and it's kind of like a reminder to myself, if Luffy wants to become the Pirate King, then I can go ahead and achieve my dreams too. I know this might sound super lame, but whatever, man, I don't care. And next to it, I have my gratitude log. This has to be one of my favorite, I don't know, trackers, spread things, because it promotes a healthy mindset for me. You know, even in the crappiest of days, I can still find something good to write about. It just makes me feel good to look back on. Finally, we get to my weekly spread. You might be wondering why I chose barrels, but I will give you a moment to take a guess. So the reason is because when Luffy first appears in the story, he actually comes busting through a barrel. I know, I really get into these small random details that I'm sure no one else would care about, but I care about it. Plus it's my bullet journal. That's just how I am. I'm just extra, man. Also with my bullet journal, it's really common if I skip whole weeks. Just sometimes I don't have the time to make a weekly spread like how this one is. It's my first weekly spread of the month, but it's technically the second week of May. I'm seriously a perfectionist, and before, if I skipped making a weekly spread, I would just forget the whole month because it wasn't perfect. So now I just let myself chill and just do what I can when I can. When it comes down to it, how I use my bullet journal is for me. And when I first started bullet journaling, I would look at other people's spreads and be like, oh my God, they're perfect. They have everything written out. My bullet journal isn't like that. But you know what? Sometimes I don't have the time or whatever, but I just have to remind myself, my bullet journal is for me. What works for others and what others can do maybe won't work for me, and maybe I just can't do that. But that's okay. we're done. Now let's do a final flip through of my May setup. I loved how everything came out. Hopefully you did too. Let me know what you guys thought about this setup. So that was my bullet journal. I really hope you guys liked it. It was interesting, the filming process, because it took such a long time. When I go and like I draw and like work on my bullet journal, I can take like 6 hours because I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure this line's okay and draw. Sometimes I don't even necessarily even use this for its intended purpose of like scheduling and being an organized person. But for me, it's therapeutic in a way of just coloring. I really like coloring. I really like, I don't know if this might sound a little bit weird, but if you just like drew a circle and fill that in, I find that so relaxing. Yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I would like to do some more plan with me videos, but I'll obviously try to do this earlier so I'm not like super late. But if you guys like this video, please make sure to give it 2 big thumbs up, and I'll say 2 because I got 2 Gmail accounts. Don't lie, man, don't be a liar. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. You know your homegirl would appreciate it. And with all that said, I hope you guys are having a beautiful, awesome sauce day. Please stay safe and please stay happy. Bye.